Okay, it's Saturday and I'm getting out and about. Like I said, try to get out at least an hour every day. All right. Uh, it looks like the weather is beautiful. Blue skies, the sun has been shining all day. They picked up the trash. Yay! Hold on. So I was up early today. Of course, I have to let the dogs out and I feed them. Yeah. And so that's just a basic routine that, we're getting into, that they're going to get out, and do their thing early in the morning and they're going to get breakfast. Um, I, I don't like the fact that I have been going back to sleep, right? I end up taking a nap, even though I really enjoy the nap. I do. The nap feels really good, and I feel so refreshed, and it's not as if, I just sleep the whole day away. It's just a nap, right? So, I mean, it would be different if I was on, like a schedule and, at least went to sleep, on time. But I don't go to sleep on time at all, right? I think I go to sleep somewhere about 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. And then, like I say, I wake up about 6, 7, sometimes 5, then I let the dogs out, at their usual time. Yeah. And, then I just try to figure out, what I can do, for the rest of the day that sounds fun. Okay? Because it dawned on me that, with this mild weather that we've been having and the temperature's been great, I should have been able to do a lot more work in the house than I actually have. Right? And there is a part of me that wants to, I don't know, I think there is a part of me that wants to leave this place. I mean, I don't mind, if I go for a vacation, but when I can't find work, and they don't hire you, you're being pushed out. You're being pushed out, and you're being, forced to go somewhere else. Okay? And I don't know. I mean, I suppose I could go back to the reservation. I could. I mean, it's beautiful. My reservation where we're at is very beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. It's lush, green, it's near the ocean, and that's possibly where I might have to go. I might have to go back to the reservation. One of the things that I did today was was I contacted customer service in regards to trying to download, my documents of my Indian ID, because it wouldn't let me document it. It wouldn't let me download it. So I contacted customer service, and maybe they can download, the image of my ID card for me. Because for whatever reason, I've been trying for the last, 2-3 months to download my ID, and it just won't let me. So, I got on chat and I asked chat, for this app, right? Asked chat, to, tell me how I can get my ID to them. And they said, well, here's an email it to them. And I was like, great, right? So that's what I did. I emailed that. So and that came along with the idea that I'm going to have to file my income tax. So I'm suspecting that if you no longer work for a company, you don't have access to get on their apps. Okay? Even though they say sometimes that that's what you can do, and maybe some people can. I know when I still can't get on, the AT&T app. I cannot, right? And I believe I did remove the Amazon app because it kept sending these notifications, and I was getting pissed off about that, so I uninstalled it. But I'm thinking I might have to reinstall the app so that I could get my last paycheck from them. So that I can do my taxes, because I have to do my taxes for sure, right? And that's one of the incentives, that they had did, one of the requirements that they did by forcing people that if you want medical, or you even want to be eligible to have your medical paid for, you have to file your taxes. You have to file your taxes, right? And of course, I had been utilizing Amazon, to provide health care for me. Okay? But, once they stopped, providing my health care, it was problematic, for me to be there. Because that was my whole purpose for being at Amazon, was so that, I can have exercise and I can have health care. So the exercise was part of the health care. It worked me hard, and I got health care, and I had enough money to pay my bills. was really surprised how the majority of people at Amazon, nobody wanted to be a worker, right? Everybody wanted to be a chief. And I'm like, I personally, I get antsy and uncomfortable if I go to work and I'm not working. I just do. I'm one of those type of people. It's like, well, can you find me something to do? Because I'll get antsy. And when I get antsy, I become a busybody. And I don't want to be a busybody because, busybodies are like shit starters. They really are. Because you're talking to this person, you're talking to that person, you might be interfering with their work, or, you might find out some information about somebody else. You might turn around and accidentally say something to these people, thinking that it was common knowledge because somebody just told you, about this person, and it wasn't common knowledge, that it was actually gossip, and you didn't know that they gave you the tea because they didn't warn you, and just stuff like that. So anyway, but I did say that, I'm going to try to look for some work, right? I'm going to make another effort to try to look for some work. Right? I was even looking at trying to submit a resume to Netflix, only to find out that somehow or another I deleted my resume. I don't know how I deleted my resume, but my resume has been deleted. Oh, I know how my resume got deleted. My resume got deleted because I used one of those apps where you can, create your resume free for 7 days. And when I didn't, subscribe after the 7 days, I had did a screenshot, right? Thinking that I would still be able to utilize the resume of that I had created, but I couldn't find the resume. I couldn't find it. I might have saved it on my Google account, but I know it's not on my phone, right? So I ended up giving the Pitties all of their toys and chews and snacks that I bought, and I did notice something very disturbing about Snoopy, the older dog. She looks like she's suffering pain or arthritis in her hind legs, right? And she had suffered that before, okay? And that was one of the reasons why I tried to keep her on a somewhat diet, keep her about 65 pounds, so that, she wouldn't be so heavy on her legs that looked like they were hurting her. But she wants to eat as much as the younger puppy, if not more, because right now she's trying to make sure that, you know, she inspects both bowls to make sure she's not missing out on any type of, you know, treats or food or anything like that. And she even looks like she threatens Gracie with a fight if she don't move out of her way. So now Snoopy sort of seems like she's the food police, you know, and Gracie, she kind of accepting it. She kind of trying to go around Snoopy, you know, kind of letting her, you know, have her way. But, you know, she's still a puppy, right? She's still a puppy. And, even though she's a big puppy, like I said, she's about 40 pounds now. And I think Snoopy, she kind of looked like she about 70 pounds now. Yeah, I think Snoopy's about 70 pounds, 75 pounds. But it looks like Gracie's gonna get to be about 80 pounds, 85 pounds, because that girl loves to eat. Oh, she loves to eat. She loves to snack, and, you know, most of the time, you know, I'm wondering, I thought, you know, she was just teething, right? No, she likes to eat. She likes to eat. She's already getting them. She's starting to get that, you know, front chest muscular development going on. Her hind legs, you know, they're developing a little bit slower. But yeah. But she's been working her hind legs by, you know, basically, you know, jumping up on things. So today, I don't know, I was thinking I might not, you know, ride around the lake, but I forgot. We're getting too close to, we're just getting too close to, this street is called Loving. Yeah, it's called Loving. 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 There's nice houses down here. The way that they refurbish the homes is just really nice. Really, really nice. And you can see the ones that haven't been refurbished. It's like, oh, kind of an eyesore. Yeah, it's a little bit of an eyesore compared to the other houses. Because the other houses, they got either modern addition, you know, they put a modern, you know, renovation to kind of make it look different, you know. Yeah. looking at this one video where this guy was showing how he turned a shed into a tiny house. Right? And to me that made sense. It's like I never could understand how come they could have, these beautiful sheds and barns and stuff that cost $10,000, $20,000, if they're really nice. Some of them are 2 stories, some of them are huge, and never understood how come they couldn't be like tiny houses. Oh look, that's it's electrical Mercedes in front of me. I wonder about the charging situation. I've been wondering, did they charge fast? No. That's not a charge. That's not electrical. It's got exhaust pipes on the back. It's not electrical. So yeah, last night, one of the homestead channels that I watch every now and then, she was talking about making your own granola using oats, because that's all granola is. It's just baked oats. So I did make me a whole big old batch of oats. Well, 3 cups worth. Well, 4 cups worth if you can, in 4.5 cups. Like, anyway, because I added pecans and almonds and coconut and flaxseed and yeah. It ended up being very tasty. It was very tasty. And because I don't eat oatmeal. I've tried to eat oatmeal the traditional way, right? The traditional way of eating oatmeal is like with sugar and milk and cinnamon, right? Now, I did see somebody suggest that you don't have to only eat oats, like a cereal, that you could use the oats, and spice it up. And I never thought about that. But it made sense when I seen it, and I said, maybe one day, if I remember, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to see, how you go about spicing it up. Because, you can do that with rice, right? Rice, you can either sweeten it up or spice it up, right? Most people, they eat rice, I'm gonna see what's down here today. What is down here? You can eat rice, savory or sweet. Wow, that's a 4-story. Ooh. My God, they got mansions down here. been down here. Yeah, they got mansions down here. I mean, that 4-story house, it must be, oh shit, it had to be like a good 8,000, 10,000 square feet. Oh, they got a tennis court. All kinds of stuff around here. Ooh-wee. Lots of land. Lots of land. Acreage. Lots of acreage on these properties. So yeah, riding around being nosy. These people here, they got their private property street. I guess it's kind of like an alleyway, and it says no trespassing. Oh, this is that house that I was talking about. That reminded me of the house about like Joe Black, right? Like the whole setting of Joe Black. I mean, how do you have a private road that's not enclosed? Right? It seems like if it's private, it should be gated. Because for the most part, if it's not gated, most people think that, it's a public street. And it looked like a public street. It did. Or a public alleyway. So yeah, I got 61 degrees. I ended up down here by the lake anyway. Yeah. Last night I ended up eating the rest of the steak that I cooked up, and I put it in with some protein noodles and broccoli and some pasta sauce, and it was so good. Oh, I stuffed myself for real. I have a little bit of that left over. I still have a pot of lentil beans that has the beef broth and beef meat. Because I went to a butcher, right, and I told him I wanted a bone. I wanted a bone for my pits, for my dogs, right? He gave me this bone. So I went thinking that, I was going to get a big piece of bone out of it. I didn't get a big piece of bone. I got maybe 2 small pieces of bone. And, yeah. I don't know where you can go to buy, a bone. If you can't go to the butcher shop to buy a bone, right? Because that's how we used to buy bones back in the day, right? We used to go and we asked the butcher, can I please have, a bone? You could buy a bone. Maybe I'll stop off in Tom Thumb and see if they have, a bone. Because what he gave me was frozen. And I was like, are you sure? He was like, yeah. And I cooked 2 of them. I bought 3, I cooked 2 of them. And oh my gosh, once they was pressure cooked, and all of the meat fell off, I had like 2 small pieces of bone on one. Then there was this really thin, flat, piece of bone about that big, but it was very flat. Snoopy ate that so fast. By the time I looked around, she had just chomp swallowed. Right. I was thinking that they was going to be chewing on the bones for a while, but there wasn't no chewing. Well, there was a little chewing, because I do still have a little piece of bone that they left in front of my room, just a little piece, like a little piece. And Gracie, she's been playing with every single toy I bought her, every single one. And it surprised me that she had taken all of those toys outside. Because I was looking for them when I went, last night, right? And I'm like, where are all your toys? Right? And then when we went outside this morning, I seen that's where the toys were. They were already out in the yard. She played with every last single one of them. Every last single one of them. The best winter we've had, right? And I know it's not that way all over the United States. In other parts of the United States, it's horrible. They're complaining about being below freezing. Oh wow, that Cadillac there, it went through the red light. Like, oh, the light is just a suggestion. Ain't nobody coming. Let me just go. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. That people can be so rebellious. Right? And I've been around some people that was like that, you know. I think one time when I was really young and I had some people in the car and I was driving and I'm just waiting at, you know, it was like early in the morning, I think, and nobody was really on the street. And, you know, I'm waiting at the light. And they were like, just go. Ain't nobody on the street. I'm like, no. Just go. Then they try to call me chicken and shit. And I'm like, you know, there's no reason to be calling folks names. I'm just following the law. Because what if there was a cop hiding? Right? There was a cop hiding. I don't have it in me to sit up here and beg a cop not to give me a ticket. It's not in me to do that. Now, some people, you know, they'll have a whole conversation with, you know, a cop. And then, you know, ask them, can they just get by with a warning? You know, that's them. But me, I'm like, well, if I don't try to run the red light, I won't have to ask them to give me a warning. So, my long-haired wig is a lot more work than I thought. It's a lot of work. I cut off some of the hair that didn't look like it was going to be, you know, that it could be repaired. The damaged hair. But I don't know. Volkswagen Bug. And she's a tall girl. She appears to be a girl. She appears to be a girl. Yeah. But the way that she behaves is not quite the way, most girls behave. Like a girl, going camping as a girl, we kind of want to camp in a tent. This girl likes to go camping in just a sleeping bag and a little bit of floor covering, right? And some of the places that she picks, is like, wow, it is like, wow, wow, wow. But my eye had been looking at a couple of Volkswagen Bugs today for whatever reason. So I might cruise by Volkswagen because there's a Volkswagen dealership up here. Actually, they got all of the dealerships around here. Mm-hmm. Then I might not. I don't know. We'll see. Because I kind of want to go and see about getting a bone for the dogs. Because I gave them all of the chews. They ate the pig ears. They fought over the pig ears. Because Snoopy she chewed on her pig ear. Then she went and grabbed Gracie's pig ear. Yeah, poor Gracie. Snoopy be like, you're not fast enough. Too bad. Let me show you how it's done. That's what it looks like for real. So I've been sitting up here contemplating about, seeing if somebody will come and buy my house off, from me. Right? And I keep thinking that, if I could walk away with like 100,000, if I could walk away with like 100,000, then I could probably give my kids like 20,000 each and tell them, hey, that's your inheritance. Here it is. Boom. Do what you can. And then that will give me like 50,000, you know, to, and of course, nowadays, they try to force you to pay your debts. Like if you try to refinance, they try to finance all your debts into your home, which is something I tried to do with my daughter. I said, look, you know, you can get your debts financed into the house and stop having to stress out about, you know, being in debt. And so would I, you know. And then when your lease runs out, or when, you know, whenever, you know, you can move into the house, and I would have enough, there would be enough money over where I would have been able to do some repairs, such as the roof repair and the siding repair, those two things, and floor, boom, you know. But I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm really gonna have to pray on it. I am really gonna have to pray on it, because I'm just, you know, I'm operating behind the 8 ball right now. I mean, you know, in front of the 8 ball. I'm operating in front of the 8 ball. And, yeah. Like, I'm going down before even the 8 ball go down. So, I don't like that. Right? And I know me, like a lot of other people, were trying to figure out, you know, okay, well, if you're not going to give a stimulus, are you going to provide jobs? I mean, you either got to give a stimulus or you got to provide jobs. Wow, that hotel that just went out of business. Well, kind of. Look like people are still staying there, though. So what they do here is every other weekend, you know, they shut down. So I'm glad that it's open. They're open today, because I'm able to drive through their parking lot. This is the Volkswagen. So I don't see any Volkswagen bugs. That's one thing I don't see. Right? So now I'm wondering, did they stop manufacturing the bug? Did they stop manufacturing the bug? I think they did stop manufacturing the bug, because there's not a single Volkswagen bug out here. Not a single Volkswagen bug out here. They got this Volkswagen SUV, the smaller one and the larger one. And then they had the sedan, which kind of looks like this car. Yeah, not a single Volkswagen bug. Imagine that. So there are several models that seem like they just faded in and fade out, and every now and then they bring them back, and then they get. Oops, let me see this. Look at this Volkswagen here. This Volkswagen right here. Let's go take a look. I believe this is the electrical Volkswagen right here. I'm just looking. See? How much is it? 66.5. And this is like the information. Fuel economy, it's electrical. It's got 1, 2. So it's got 3 seats. This is it. That is it. And I guess this would be the charge port. These are all of the standard features. These are all of the charges, the extra. So the base price is like $59. Just say 60,000. So yeah. So that electrical vehicle 2025 model is 60,000. It's cute. It's cute. I don't think I would want an electrical car to stay in. I just don't. And then we got CarMax right over here. And I did think about selling this vehicle. I wonder if they would give me a price on selling this car at CarMax. If they would buy my car. I would have to clean it up and then bring it here. Because you used to be able to bring your car here and so today they are open until 9 p.m. Wow. Okay. So that was interesting to see the electrical Volkswagen vans. I've watched a couple of people who were in Volkswagen vans, the gas combustible vans, but they were old and they were living in them, and yeah. Now, it has been stated that they have, an electrical RV. Yeah. But 66,000. 66,000. That's a lot of damn money. $66,000. Would you pay $66,000 for an electrical Volkswagen van? That's a lot of money. And I haven't seen any of those like riding around. And like I said, I was surprised that I didn't see any Volkswagen Bugs at all on their lot. Right? Which is kind of like what they do when they stop producing a certain model. Like, I didn't see any Camaros on the Chevy lot, because I guess they're not making the Camaros this year or last year, whatever. And they discontinue the Camaros off and on from year to year. They'll discontinue it and then bring it back, and then stop it and then bring it back. But I think when they stop racing the Camaros, then it just sort of lost its flavor, because the Camaro didn't really have a lot of room. I mean, it had seating room, and that was about it. It had a small amount of trunk space. So yeah, I'm thinking the only place where I could probably get a doggy bone is at the pet store. Now, I know I can 66,000. That's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. I was looking at the price of what was that, 3,500? A 3,500 Ram, right? I was looking at the price of that, and that ranged from 50,000 to 85,000. Okay. Let me go and check out the bones.